What's good, you guys? It's your boy the Kryptonian Saiyan, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 194. Fucking Zoro. I have to start off with fucking Zoro, man. I have to start off like that because I was hyped as hell at the end of the chapter when this dude picks up a fucking building that has collapsed on top of him and he just tosses that shit. Like, I know Zoro is strong as hell. Do not get me wrong. Like, this is the same dude who took out those sharks from Arlong Park. And they're 20 times stronger than men. And Zoro one-shotted these dudes off panel at that. Like, you know Zoro is strong. But just seeing little shit like this, like, oh my god, man. I'm geeking out right now, man. I was reading that shit, I just marked the fuck out. I was like, Zoro's that dude, man. Like, fuck it, Zoro's that nigga. I was like, yo! Okay, so with that being said, that's my initial reaction. This chapter, this is a very action-paced chapter. An action-packed chapter is very fast-paced. This felt like reading a Bleach chapter, man. Like, just the facial expressions that are, you know, there's emphasis put on the facial expressions. The action's very fast-paced. There's sword play. Hell, this even felt like a Rurouni Kenshin chapter, just with more incredible strength feats, man. Like, this was really good. There's not too much to dissect. The chapter in a nutshell is basically Zoro can never get the upper hand on Mr. One. And Mr. One, that arrogant son of a bitch, he tells him, hey, you've never met anybody like me before, so of course that shit worked on everyone else. Like, I love characters who just talk the shit like that. That's fucking amazing, man. I love that one. I love the fact that, you know, when Zoro uses the demon slash where he's got both swords in his hands and he's got the sword in his mouth and he charges the guy, Mr. One eats that shit. That was really good. You know, Zoro tries some aerial attacks, never really works. And you get this flashback, and that's where I'm going to kind of focus a lot of this review on. You get this flashback where Zoro is talking with his master. And two things stood out. One, Zoro said, I heard that there's a swordsman who can cut through metal. I'm really wondering, is that Mr. One? Like, I'm really wondering I'm really wondering if this is going to be Oda's way of having Zoro have a plot reason built into this, like a plot device built into it, to where Zoro's actually going to be able to cut through metal now. He's going to have to, he's going to defeat him. Obviously, he's going to defeat Mr. One. He's part of the main crew. Everyone in the Straw Hats has, you know, gotten a victory so far, so obviously he's going to get to that point. But I like the little flashback where the master takes his sword and he can't even cut through paper, and he tells Zoro, hey, a sword cuts through what it wants. And it's basically talking about the swordsman's spirit. And shit like that is how I know that Oda was a assistant on Rurouni Kenshin, because that's the shit that Kenshin was all about, swordsman's spirit, and how the swords are basically people, if you will. Swords have emotions. That's one of the things that I took away from Rurouni Kenshin, was one of the meanings. And this is one of the things right here. You know, Zoro says, I was too close to death. I'll have to train even harder from now on. And I really feel like this fight is going to be, in a way, training for him. But just that flashback, it touches on two things. You know, in the office I'm in, you know, one of the things that, you know, I've seen is that on the wall it says, you are braver than you believe you are. You are smarter than you believe, and forgot the other one, but it still fits. I know you're like, oh shit, you see this shit every day. You're fucking right. I see this shit every day, but I can't think of that last line for the life of me. But the thing is it basically says that there's no limit to what you can achieve if you put your mind to it and you go down the right path. You know, a lot of times we want the quick and easy way. That's the way our society is. And for a character like Zoro, in order to become the greatest swordsman, he has to go through somebody like a Mr. One. Because Mr. One, swordsman also, but he represents just the impossible nature of his dream, because he's fighting someone who every part of his body is metal. and Zoro has to reach a new pinnacle of strength, a new level of swordsmanship in order to reach that point, in order to reach that dream. Just how Luffy has to go through one of the 7 warlords of the sea in order to get down on his path of being the king of the pirates. So I love seeing this. Like, it's very fitting to me that Luffy has to face someone that notorious, and then Zoro has to face the person right underneath him. That is good. That cements for me the fact that Zoro is second in command. I was flip-flopping between himself and Sanji, but he's definitely number one in Luffy's crew. And the other thing is Zoro's obviously gotten stronger because he's continued to train, and I'm really wondering if when he was approached by Baroque Works before, right? If when he was approached, could he have actually run the table up to Mr. 1? I don't think so. I think that, and again, this is just my assumption based on the fact that this is a shonen, a battle shonen, so obviously the characters get stronger over time. I don't know if Zoro would have been able to make it to even Mr. 5. I think maybe he'd have been able to take out Mr. 5, but Mr. 4, that would have caused some problems. That would have caused problems. I know it sounds blasphemous that Usopp is able to take out somebody Zoro can't, but those are just my thoughts, guys. My chapter question for you guys is going to be that one right there. When Zoro was approached by Baroque Works before, right? And he said, well, make me your boss. If Zoro had to run the table, if he had to run the gauntlet from all the way down, like from the scum of the scum to the very top of Crocodile, how far do you think Zoro would have gotten? And just for a bit of fun, how far do you think Luffy would have gotten after the time skip, after he first ate the devil fruit? Basically, the Luffy that got ready to go take on Captain Morgan, right? That Luffy, how far do you think he would have been able to get running the table through Baroque Works? So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. As always, if you like anything I had to say, hit that like button, comment, rate, subscribe, share.